Hey guys, I think I got the volume better on this one. So what we got here is I want to go through some of the problems on the review, so then that way you can double check stuff as we go. So first of all, problem factor one. Some of these, remember, you always, well, all of them you always look for a GCF. So in this case here, I could pull out a 4 and I can pull out an x. So when I do that, I'm going to put the 4x out front. So then I've got x squared plus 4 there. Because again, remember, what you're actually doing here is when I've got 4x cubed plus 16x, I'm dividing, if I'm going to factor out 4x, I'm dividing each part here by 4x. So then this simplifies out. The 4's divide out, and x to the third over x is x squared. Here, the x's divide out, and then 16 divided by 4 is 4. Now notice here I've got a minus, so while it might be tempting to say, hey, look, I've got a binomial, I can difference of perfect squares. It's not a difference, it's actually a sum. So this would be actually your final answer. And sometimes that's all you can do is just pull out the greatest common factor. There's not anything else you can do. Moving on to problem number 3. This is a little bit more straightforward. So here my product is negative 28. My sum is 12. So you're going to look for products, so the factor pairs. So factor pairs have got 1 and 28. Now again, remember, if the product is negative, my factors, one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. The larger factor is going to take on this same as the sum. So it's going to be negative 1 and 28, and negative 2 and 14. So this sums up to be 27. That sums up to become 12. Hey, that's what I want. And then again, you'd have 4 would also be in there too, but this would be the one that I want. So again, there are some shortcuts here, but let's go through all the different steps just to be safe. I'm going to split that middle term into 2 parts. It's kind of like if you have to split cake with your brother. Okay, so this 12x here, notice, is 12x. Okay, so if that's the case, I'm going to break this up. Or, you could do it this way. Either way works. I get x squared minus 2x, 14x minus 28. But, so again, greatest common factor here, I can pull out an x, which leaves me with x minus 2. Here, my greatest common factor is 14. So that leaves me with x minus 2. If you're doing it this way, again, same idea. I have an x I can pull out here. I can pull a 14 out here. Leftovers, I get x minus 2 for both of them. So anyway, your final answer on this is going to be x minus 2, x plus 14. Now, some of you had noticed, and we talked about this the other day with the graphic organizer, that when you've got this leading coefficient up here that's 1, once you find the factors, those 2 numbers are going to just be in the binomial. Okay, so that's something to think about as well. Again, pause, rewind, repeat as you need to. This one right here, no shortcuts on this one. Your product is going to be 3 times negative 4. So that's going to equal negative 12. Your sum that we're looking for is going to equal negative 11. So factor pairs here, and since the 11 is negative, we're going to put the negative on the larger partner. So here are all your factor pairs of 12. We want one that adds to be negative 11. Now you could just stop right here because look, we've got what we want. So again, split the middle term up. So I've got 3x squared. And again, it does not matter which one you do. I would suggest putting the negative 1 out first just to be safe. And then from here, factor out. Oops. Forgot the x. Good job, Mr. Hayes. I know. Now what happens here? So I've got that. What happens here if there's nothing to factor out? Well, your greatest common factor then turns out to be 1. And that's what you'll include. And sometimes you can see that better if you set up and do it the visual area method way, the box method. So you get that. Now again, if you're doing it in the box, you could do that. And again, order of the middle 2 terms doesn't matter that much. So if you ended up having, oops, But again, same idea. Pull out a 3x here, pull out a 1. Then leftovers up here, I'd have x and minus 4. I think I've got one more here. Oh, yes. So one thing I didn't do over here is I didn't check for GCF, and I lucked out I didn't have it. But notice I've got 3, 11, and 4. 3 does not go into 4, so there's that. For GCF, always look at the smallest. So for GCF possibilities, so GCF candidates are going to be the factors of 4. 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Start with the largest one. So can I divide a 4 into 16? Yes. Can I divide 4 into 12? Yes. Okay, well, and then we'll just start there. If you start with the lower numbers, if you find one, like if you find 2, you're going to leave stuff out, which is going to be, kind of the problem there. So you got to make sure that you start with the largest one so you don't waste your time. And so when you do this, remember, then what we're going to do is we're just going to break this down. So again, product equals 4, sum equals 3. That's an ugly looking S. So again, 1 and 4, 2 and 2. Oops, wrong. Mr. Hayes, just seeing if you're paying attention. No. Product equals 3, sum equals 4. So 1 and 3, only ones that work. So this is going to break down into your final answer. Now notice the 4 is still hanging out there, just like your little brother. Okay? So that should give you, I don't think I have anything else. Let me check. No. Okay, that should give you a pretty good idea of how to do some of these and hopefully give you a push to do the other ones. Obviously, still come in at lunch if you can, or stop in it before school. If you have any questions, obviously see me at those times and we can try to get them straightened out. You've got plenty of other problems from homework to check out, so you can also check those out too. Talk to you soon.